Welcome to this instructional video on how to build the District K platform. So what you'll receive in your pack should look a bit like this. What these are at the bottom is they'll come in a bag, and you've got your buttresses, and then you've got what we're calling the construction tabs, which we'll go into in a moment. What you'll also have is all of your pieces that should lay out like this. Now, if you've ordered it unglued, these bits here won't have these details on the top. I'm going to quickly show you how that goes together. So as you look through, you'll notice that there's always going to be two bits that look like each other. So for example, there'll be two bits of each of these lengths. One of them will have the slightly fatter parts and one will have the thinner parts. So what you do is you take the thinner one, you run a bead of glue along all the different parts like that. You take the thicker part, lay it on top, turn it over, and then it's just a matter of simply doing that, where you just sort of put it into place. And there you go. And then once you're at that part there, you can put another bead of glue on the back of that and then stick it down to the appropriate piece. So once you've done all that, you'll end up with something that looks like this. So you've got all the detailed parts that go around the perimeter and this part. The triangles that support the ramp and also the these parts here will already be glued. You'll find that that's the same on the back of these as well. First thing to do really is to attach these parts to that part. So what you'll find is that these parts with the detail on the outside should fit like this. And what you'll find is that the two tabs that are already attached to the top surface, the underside of it, will line up like that, and the same on the other side. So that gives you an idea of what we need to do. We need to run a piece of part of glue along that line like that. Same for the other side, and then we can put these in place like this. This does take a moment to dry, so I'm just going to place it like this on the table. And the more parts that we add to this, the stronger it will get. You'll also find that this part here, which makes up the back, that also has tabs on it. These middle two here line up with those as well. So what you'll want to be doing here is across the top of each of these, putting a piece of glue, put a line of glue on top of each of these, because that's where it's going to contact with the surface. And then you'll also want to put a line of glue down the side of the structural tabs that attach to the back. And then what we'll find is when we push that into place with those parts and get it right. You may find that there's a better way of putting this together than what I'm doing at the moment. This is the easiest way I've found of doing it. There we go. What these tabs do that are on the back of these parts is it simply gives you a guide for exactly how tall this part needs to be, so you never get it wrong. As simple as that. So now we've got the side parts. I'm just going to put a bead on top there. You might find that yours has more or less tabs than I'm seeing on the back of here. You may find there's one there and there. The reason for that is because I've been working on this kit for a while, and I believe this is an older iteration of it. So onto the side. Again, apologies for the camera angle here. That will attach onto there. If it was straight. One moment. Just going to make that one a bit straighter. There we go. And we do the same to the other side. We put a bead of glue along this part here and that part there. And then we're going to put some just on the ends as well. And then this will push up against the bottom of the lid and the part we've already attached. I'm going to bend this one as well. There we go. What that will give you is the start of your platform. So at the moment it's a little bit unsteady. What we're going to need to do is then stick these two front bits on. So what you'll find is that these two should jut up against these parts here. And again, the structural parts will fit underneath the surface at the perfect height. There we go. So for the ramp, you'll find that this sort of sits perfectly in that gap there. The reason we have these true triangles in here is because that's what supports this here. So I'm going to run 2 lines of glue. One down this side and one down this side, and then push that into place like that. Put that back on. That part there. When that's dried a little, you might want to find that you want to run a bead of glue around the outsides there just to make it a bit more sturdy. At this point it's still a little bit fragile, but it should be easy enough to handle. What you'll find that you'll want to do at this point is, wherever you see one of these supports here, one of these structural tabs, if you run a line of glue next to it and along the bottom, you can get one of these tabs and you can simply push that against like that. And what that does is it spreads out a little bit of the support through there. If we do the same thing on this one here, we can add a bit more support to that part, like that. And essentially what you want to do is when you go around the outsides of the whole thing, doing that, and that will give you the final support that you need to keep the whole thing together and working brilliantly. Right, all that's left then is to add the buttresses. So this is another fairly simple process. What I tend to do is I tend to put them every other 2 of these, starting off here. So if we put a line of glue there, and a line of glue there. This is just simply a matter of getting the buttress and pushing it against the side. Holding it there for a moment or 2, then letting go. Making sure it's in line with the floor, and then do the same with the other part. Put that back on the table, you can push them down so they meet the floor, and essentially you want to repeat that all the way around until you have finished the whole kit. And that is essentially how you build this kit. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out through Etsy, or wherever you bought it from, or indeed this YouTube video or channel. Thanks very much.